We're up to episode 9. We are just 7 weeks away and counting, and Trials Day to look forward to this weekend. This is our latest instalment of Road to Cheltenham, and loads to look back out on the weekend with the Berkshire Million meeting, 3 brilliant days at Windsor and Ascot. I'll start with you, Joel. Did you enjoy it?
Do you know what I really did? It was nice to see jumping back at Windsor. Very tight track, and I think it's going to be a specialist course, obviously. I thought Harry Skelton was outstanding on one of his rides and could have been a little bit better on another. But I really enjoyed it. I was reading this morning that they're disappointed the crowds were down, which is a shame. I mean, I don't think the Dublin Racing Festival are quaking in the boots, but for me, I really enjoyed it. It was nice, and it wasn't like fast pace, and it was just that nice thing between Christmas and New Year and the 7 weeks to Cheltenham. So I really do hope it takes off and they throw more money into it and really promote it next year.
Yeah, cracking initiative, Frankie, as well. And you had some cracking entries, you had some cracking racing.
We did, yeah. John Bond and Protectorat being the highlights for me. John Bond was just a joy to watch, which we'll talk about more in a second. And Protectorat, I thought, was one of those races that was fun to watch, not just because of how it panned out, but because he's got a bit of personality, hasn't he? He was tough. You like to see the proper national hunt horses go and put on a display like that. So I really enjoyed watching both of those. I thought Protectorat was fantastic on Sunday and really boosted that card at Windsor to close the weekend off.
Okay, then you mentioned him. Let's talk about him. John Bond was a star attraction. He duly delivered. What do we make of it, though? I mean, obviously, he was impressive on the eye. But in terms of what he beat, Edwardstone and Boot Hill, we know he beats them. He beats them week in, week out. And Ergamo is a new challenger. He's 11 years old now. Is he what he once was, Joel?
No, I think we put John Bond, and nobody's shouting from the roofs because, we backed to odds-on shot the weekend. But the start was there, and Ergamo, no horses won that race in its current format as an 11-year-old. There was many people being pretty horrible about, he's beating pensioners, Edwardstone and Boot Hill. I know you liked a little bit of Boot Hill, Matt, but, the way to knock that horse about. And I thought Edwardstone may have got second, could have got second, if the owner had fancied being there. John Bond, did it from the front. Do you know what I really, really noticed? Because you see a lot of like Peter and all these sort of organisations talking about welfare and everything. If you could clip up something and say, here's one horse that really enjoyed himself there, ears pricked. Nick, I didn't need to get the shillelagh out, and it just looked nice. I got the riding tactics completely wrong. I thought Paul would go ahead on an Ergamo and try and get any chinks out of John Bond and try and get him at it, but he didn't, and just wasn't good enough, and maybe the legs are gone. But no, I was impressed, and probably back to his best. But here comes Cheltenham, and you know what happens next.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, he's not got the greatest record here. Frankie, but does he need? He's 5-4 now for the champion chase. Does he really need to win this to put himself up there amongst the greats? Because he's got an incredible record, but as I say every week, he doesn't really get the credit his record probably deserves.
No, I think this weekend he probably earned himself some more fans. He's a lovable horse. Just the amount of ones on his form book makes him likeable, doesn't it? And the way he raced at the weekend, the way he jumped, he was clever at a few fences and adjusted his feet. He was big at a couple. He was pretty bold at the last. I think at the weekend, he definitely earned some more fans, and rightly so. And he has beaten a dual champion chase winner in Ergamo. So he has risen up to that top level, but there is the Cheltenham Festival missing from his CV. That is pretty much the last thing that he has to go and win. I don't think there's any other race that you'd be crying out for him to win. If he can get a champion chase on his CV, then he is cemented as one of Nicky Henderson's greats, up there with the likes of Eltior. The big question is, can he do it at Cheltenham? His ratings on the races that he's ran in at Cheltenham are of his worst, even though he's won and he's, pulled one out the fire. He still has underperformed there relative to his other victories. So I wouldn't say he's nailed himself on, but he's certainly getting closer to Cheltenham victory. And as Nicky said, they've worked back from that. So, he only beat, was it Boot Hill by a length and a half in November, but that's him at the start of the year when they say they need to take a bit of zest out of him, and he is going to be getting better with every run. So everything's perfect for him to go and have a crack, and I hope he does, really, for the horses' CV. It'd be nice, be great to see.
Right. One word, 5-4, player all here. Joel.
Lay.
Frankie.
One word. Lay. Yeah, lay. I prefer to back something else. I wouldn't say lay, but I'd like to back something else each way.
Yeah, he is short, isn't he? Obviously got another shorty with 7 barrels for the weekend as well. We'll come on to that in a moment. But I want to move on to the Ryanair Chase then, because we kind of had a trial in Ireland, although Appreciate It won it. He's got an entry. Blood Destiny has. He was only third, probably a little bit disappointed in 1, 2, 3 for winning monies. But the reigning champion Protectorate, well, he warmed up, didn't he? Impressively, Joel.
Yeah, I could not have had Protectorate in my mind at all. It wouldn't have been a late, obviously, but I would never had that horse on my mind. I think it was given a phenomenal ride. I think they analysed it on both channels about this was all predetermined as far as what Harry Skelton would do. But was that his day? I don't know. It's a horse that I've never really warmed to and has let me down many times because I've just backed him in long races. And I thought it was given a tremendous ride. Is it into 10s or something now? 10s, something like that. Yeah. Just looking at the market last night, Grey Dawning's in there as well. And obviously, they both won't go, will they?
Different owners. I mean, it's interesting. There's been a bit of a campaign I've seen on the Sporting Life from one of the journalists asking for Grey Dawning to go to the Ryanair because he said he kind of, Dan Skelton there's less a Protectorate. He's not quite a Gold Cup horse. He removed to the Ryanair and he goes and duly obliges. And Grey Dawning, he was struggling at Haydock over, I know it's bad ground, but would he really see how I extended 3.25 mile at Cheltenham? We know he's got the pace for the Ryanair because he won the novice version last year. So it's an interesting thought. Different owners, the Skeltons, would they think I'd rather have 2 good chances than, one fair and one outside?
Okay, well, all right. Well, obviously, Harry will ride Protectorate then, is that what you're saying? But then Grey Dawning's the apple of his eye. I mean, Keelan Woods is doing a great job as a standing for number 2 at the minute. I mean, if you two have got the option, Matt claiming the 10, Frankie claiming the 3, what would you ride? If you're going in there tomorrow, what you're riding? You've got the choice. Yeah. What you're riding?
I'd ride Protectorate.
I'd ride Grey Dawning.
I'd ride Grey Dawning as well. I prefer Grey Dawning over Protectorate. Just got I've got a thing for him.
I don't think he can quite play with the big boys, Grey Dawning. I think he's
youth on his side.
I'd kind of put him at like Pic D'Ory level, like can win grade 2 after grade 2, can win the right grade ones, but maybe not the top grade ones.
I mean, Protectorate won the Ryanair last year, but, we got Factor Pile probably won't go, but, Banbridge, Spillane's Tower, El Fabiolo, I mean, probably going to be a deeper renewal than last year, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I was looking at, Matt. I looked at the 3 behind Protectorate last year. That was Envoy Allen, Conflated and Capodanno. Envoy Allen is the best of the 3, obviously, but they don't jump off the page at you, do they? And then this year, as you've just mentioned, Factfile, Banbridge, Spillane's Tower, Ile Fronte, maybe. Those names are better than last year's that finished behind Protectorate. Obviously, there are question marks about who's going to go. I don't know if I completely agree that Factfile won't go, though. I think there's still a chance that he might. You look at his form, and he's performed best over the intermediate trip. I'd say there's a question mark if he gets the extended 3 miles in the Gold Cup, and he has been put in his place by Galopin des Champs. JP wants Cheltenham winners, doesn't he? And I wonder, would he rather send Factfile and Spillane's Tower to the Ryanair? Corbett's Cross can go in the Gold Cup, and they've got a year on Galopin des Champs, Factfile and Spillane's Tower. They can go to the Gold Cup next year when he's a little bit older. It wouldn't be the worst campaigned horse in the world for Factfile to win at the Cheltenham Festival in the Browns last year, then the Ryanair this year, then the Gold Cup next year. I could see him going,
Again, you probably want to shoot me here, but have we, and any Irish viewer or anywhere else in the world, and probably British viewers will look at me and go, what are you talking about? Have we got a chance to win the Presbyterian Cup this year? I mean, you got the Hendo 4-timer, which priced up this morning at best price around 20. It's our best go in a long while, isn't it?
Look at the Supreme Novice Hurdle market.
A chart. We've always got a chart.
No, I totally understand. We've got some cracking chances. We've got some great chances, but strength and depth comes from over the sea, doesn't it?
Yeah. You can't have facts for half the right now then, Matt. You think he's Gold Cup bound?
I think he's got, look, never be afraid of one horse. I'm sure he's got the rest of them covered, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Jerry Colom's third favourite. So, and JP's got a great chance. Looks like Blaine Tower's definitely going Ryanair. Two Americans kind of weird that way. And would he be happy to rely on Corbett's Cross in the goal? I know you're saying he's got time on his side, but I just think in a race that is going to cut up, you look at the Gold Cup, I think there was a 16 entered. Not all going to go. There's no chance in there. So, and I'll tell you what's interesting, just quickly touching on the Gold Cup, he's entered for the Cotswold Chase this weekend on Trials Day. I mean, with the greatest respect, I think L'Homme Presse is probably the main candidate for the Gold Cup. In terms of a Gold Cup trial, it is not. I know he's only got 5 horses, haven't we? British trained in the Gold Cup, and the Island have sent a few over. So it's, I mean, I'll just reiterate what the actual entries are for the Cotswold Chase on Saturday. So that, I know there was a lot written about it, and it is a bit of a sad state of affairs, and this is where we're at in terms of staying chasers on these shores. But the entries for the Cotswold Chase, Capodanno was last year's winner, wasn't he? I think 2 years ago, wasn't it? Real wacko last year. Chantry House, Dashel Drasher, Delta Work, Gar Law, Gentleman's Game, L'Homme Presse, Stage Star, 3 1/4 miles. Must do that in a horse box. Tommy Barrett. So, trial.
Yeah.
They really are clutching their straws on. I mean, what price is L'Homme Presse going to be? So that's where we stand in the Gold Cup. That's going to Ireland. The Ryanair, I don't know, I'm interested if Grey Dawning does go. He'd certainly be an interesting shout. Well, let's move on to the Triumph Hurdle. And in my view, similar to John Bon, Lambert, massively impressive on the eye at Ascot on Saturday. Did it very nicely. What did he beat? He had a very good flat horse in second, but he pulled his arms off, pulled Kelly Quinn's arms off for, 3/4 of the race and just flattened out after the last. So, not sure what he beat. And 6-4 for a championship race on the back of that one British appearance. I mean, again, it's just ridiculously short, Frankie.
Yeah. For all that, Lou Lambo was seriously impressive. 6-4, considering we've still got the Dublin Racing Festival to run, is obscene. That would be a price that surely nobody is taking now. And I see the Triumph 2 ways for betting anyway. You're either sat on a nice slip because you've taken the hype a long way out before some of these horses have even ran, and you've got a 20 slip that you're pleased with, or you've got to wait until all of these horses have run, and you've got to wait till the end of the Dublin Racing Festival. You look at the juvenile race last year, Cargés was in there, Madgeborough was in there, Stormheart went off favourite for the Triumph, was in there. There's some smart juveniles to run in Ireland that we don't know enough about yet, and you cannot be backing one at 6-4 with that festival still to run. So Lou Lambert, very impressive, very professional. And to be honest, I've been banging on about East India Doc. I think East India Doc will help Lou Lambert, because if he goes hard and Lou Lambert jumps as well as he did and can just follow a horse that sets a strong pace, will probably suit. So all of these things, have happened to make Lou Lambert as short as 6-4, but there's plenty still to happen. Dublin Racing Festival, all of these novices, juveniles, there's a lot to happen.
Well, not just the Dublin Racing Festival. We've got one on Saturday as well at Cheltenham, haven't we? A real good one, a grade 2. Cindy Dock is entered in that. We've got Bleed If You Can, who won on debut at Warwick. We've got Quantock Hills, who, of course, did it at Cheltenham last time. I've got a French recruit, Paul Nichols, as well, Sauvignon.
Henderson's, 1.4 million Derby.
We've got Palladium to come as well, German Derby and Palladium, Lady Bamford. That's entered Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
So, there's lots of horses to see, and you mentioned before they get to the DRF. So, 6-4 is as visually impressive as it was, Joel, and you're sitting there with a look on your face, which I'm not sure what you're going to say, but...
Well, look, I watched it first time, and we were in the WhatsApp group, and it was like, what's he beaten? And also the Gary Moore horse looked tiny, but then you got to realise that Caelan Quinn is about 7'4", and pulled his way out. He's going 20 odd miles an hour. And he's used to going 40 odd miles an hour, and he's that was it. And again, it was visually impressive, but I'd much prefer to be on East India Dock after that 18-length win. Cheltenham, or even a couple of real shrewdies have been putting up Mercia, who was bought privately for Kenny Alexander of Honeysuckle fame. Have you got a price on Mercia? I've just noticed it being popped around quite a bit. Trained by Mullins. in those now famous silks, and we've just been chatting away about this horse. If the race was tomorrow, East India Dock for me, favourite can go and win. If you want to have Henderson Stable lads or lasses that are on at the stupid prices, then fair play to you. You've got a belter there. But Mercier, a few little
66-1.
Wow. Okay. Maybe not then, but no, it was. I couldn't even find it on my list earlier on. But just a few shrewdies were saying, "Have a look at this one for a little place bet." Privately,
I wouldn't mind seeing Mambo Man in Fred Winter, the Boodles. I'm pacing that.
Yeah. He's gonna have to get another run in, isn't he? Two runs.
Yeah. True. Yes, true. Maybe not.
But yeah, I mean, it's impressive, but 6-4, absolutely ridiculous price. If you want to take 6-4 now, got to help you. What about the Supreme? I mentioned it. Dominated by Ireland. They've got another one in the mix. Kiss Will, winning a made his odds on, was entitled to win at Fairy House, but another one to be loaded onto the Willie Mullins truck for the opener, Frankie.
Yeah, this is certainly not going to stay in Britain, is it? I mean, it never does. The Irish always win the Supreme. Kiswell was impressive. Put a nice little bit of distance between himself and the second after fluffing the last, actually, and then quickened up nicely. Yeah, lots of nice horses in here, isn't there? I still don't feel like I've seen one that gets me more excited than Romeo Coolio, who has that solid Grade 1 form. And it's a bit of a waiting game. More will happen over the next couple of weeks. I can't say much more than that, really. Kiswell's thrown his name thrown his hat into the ring, rather, and did it nice enough.
How did what?
He's got a chance. He's basically what he's saying. Obviously, one hat coming out of the ring was Royal Infantry's, who's well been ahead.
The dirty double didn't work out, did it?
He did it at all.
Oh,
we're talking about the second leg of that in a minute, but Joel, the pecking order for the Supreme is seriously had to be decided, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I was great about that dirty double at the weekend. There's no excuses. I'm looking for excuses. Is it a break? Is it the ground? Is it the jog? Whatever. I just thought it looked like one of Nichols. It was that someone had paid 800 grand for. Like just sorry, Paul. He's a Barbados, don't matter. I had no excuses whatsoever, and I thought that hack up at the weekend. So you got to put your hands up and say you're wrong. But I think it's back to the drawing board there, isn't it?
It is for that one, which takes us nice onto the Mares Hurdle, which was in the first leg of the Dirty Double. Car Jessen again. So no excuses. It wasn't as keen as people suggested she may be in the early stages. I thought she settled reasonably well, but there was nothing at the end, was there, when the kick came? Not fit?
I don't know. Willie Mullins hasn't been having the best time over here, has he? Lots of them that come with big chances have massively underperformed. She was probably one of them based off of what they said about her beforehand. You take into that, it was first run of the season. She's travelled over. Ruby made a point on Sky, was it, of saying that she was a little bit worked up in the paddock. You calculate all of those things, and okay, she's been beaten, but I think they'd still be gutted. I think, based off of comments beforehand about her being the best mare over there they've had in a while, they've got to be gutted with that, haven't they?
Oh yeah, I was great watching it, and again, it's just another one of those where there's no excuses, right? I think the most impressive thing about that was Channel 4, how old am I? ITV Racing started, and it was I was more playing the game of how many presenters could pronounce it in a different way. I think we got 4 within the first 5 minutes of being on, but there was no excuses whatsoever. Again, Mullins was over in Barbados. Is everyone in Barbados at the minute? What's going on?
Everyone in Barbados.
Yeah.
What I want to point out here is Car Jess. Is that
right?
Yeah.
Car
Jess.
Yeah,
she's half the price of Tano Chances having beaten us. Having obviously this Calmos beaten her. So we're expecting the period there at Cheltenham.
I don't think Take No Chances can win the Mares Hurdle. I think that was a great ride by Keelan on the day. She was tough. She's had a bit of a busier campaign, a bit fitter perhaps. I'd still fancy Cargés to reverse that form at the festival.
Yeah, I wouldn't be touching it though. Oh, I'm touching her. I'm a non-toucher.
It was one of those, you're watching it going, go on, get there.
Ready?
She
Ready? Go on,
yeah.
go on, Paul. Go on,
Yeah.
nothing. No, go on, Paul. Go on. No, seriously. All right, see you in a bit.
Right, we'll start with the mares, as Frankie's on the show, and we'll go to the novices. But Paul Nicholls, it's not been a great period, but he's got some nice mares. Novices, we saw Jubilee Alpha win out Windsor on Sunday, but also the day before, this Just a Rose winning by 26 lengths. Okay, it was a little novice hurdle at Taunton, probably about 4 and actually had realistic chance, but drifted like a barge, but galloped and just galloped clear, Joel.
Yeah, Just a Rose are really, really impressive, and I put a little asterisk behind this one. There's a lot of Nicholls that I'd be touching. I'd be leaving those till Aintree, but out of all the Nicholls horses I've seen so far, this is up there with wow, and especially the Market Drift as well, which was interesting because normally he's it's horrible to me. He's still a big stable, isn't he? It's he's still a Man United, even though he ain't doing the Man United things of 10 years ago because he hasn't got the players. But I was really, really impressed with it, and I'm sure Frankie is as well because you've got that glint in your eye. It's that's it.
So he's like she Just the Road is like the Ahmad Diallo of ditch sheets, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we've got one for the future, and the rest can just be sold. Have a fire sale.
The glint in Frankie's eye, is that because of Just a Rose or Jubilee Alpha?
I would be with Jubilee Alpha over the two, more so because of market support. She was ridden with a lot of confidence. Paul Nicholls said that she just beats Just a Rose at home. I think Just a Rose surprised Paul Nicholls, and he has said that she will run again before deciding what happens at the festival. So Jubilee Alpha is in there. You're frowning at me as if she's not going to. He says she's going to go to Sandown. You're looking very confused. In the yard's mind, Jubilee Alpha is the better of the two and is nailed on as their Mares Novice contender, and I would probably stick with that, even though it wasn't as flashy as however many lengths that Just a Rose won by. It was probably a better race. It's quite strange, isn't it, that Paul Nicholls has got 2 in the Mares Novice Hurdle as his best chance. It's very... you wouldn't expect that, would you? But
no, and also, this time last year, Nicky couldn't buy a winner, and he might be up there. Take Mullins out, without Mullins, you take him out of there. He might be up there for champion trainer. Because the 4 good things. There's the other one that hasn't come out yet. That's entered Thursday and Friday. There's 5. Come on, at least he'll have something in the handicaps.
Just a Rose, bit of form on in a point-to-point behind Country Mile, the horse that won by a Country Mile at Cheltenham, but then flopped last time out in the Grade 1. But it's not the worst bit of form, is it? In a point?
No, could be worse. Very rarely translate there, does it?
Yeah.
Constitution still got beat at a point.
That's very true.
Right. I mentioned trials weekend this weekend, so we've got a good Triumph Hurdle trial. We've got an excellent Trial Novice Hurdle as well, the finale, and the Cleve Hurdle looks pretty decent as well. The Constitutional scared all off, but Lossymouth. But interestingly, Lossymouth and the other Lossymouth is entering the very race after. Hope Polly Gundry doesn't take the wrong one home.
Actually, no, that would be, because remember how many times that the trainers turn up. You must read this story every 6 months in the Racing Post where we loaded the wrong horse onto the lorry that morning. We've only got 3 horses. One of them's grey, one of them's white, and one of them's a bay gelding. But anyway, that would be really fun, really, really fun.
Where's Lossymouth going to run? What do we think?
Which one?
The better one, the good one,
the grey one. No,
I think the champion. 2 miles speed.
Really?
Yeah. Hence my selection.
she stays 2.5. You said she was taking off her feet, was she not?
Bit quick.
Blame it on the Willie Mullins travel effect.
Wow. Okay then. Right. I know why you say champion.
Yeah.
Because that takes us across to our first Ante-Post bets of the year. So,
Indeed, it does, Matt.
this is what we've been waiting for. Our first one into the portfolio, and it's the Mayor's Hurdle. Frankie's wanting Lossiemouth to go to the champion because
when we're looking at the markets at the moment, I'm trying to find a horse that I think is definitely going to go to a race in a market where there are question marks about others. The Mayor's Hurdle, brighter days ahead. God knows where she's going to go. The market's flip-flopping. They don't really know. I think it's still likely to go to the Mayor's Hurdle. Lossiemouth, I don't think goes. I think I like her to have another crack at Constitution Hill. I really would. As I said, not loads of his horses have travelled over and performed. She's been brilliant over 2 miles at Cheltenham before. She's got a lot of speed. I think she'd be great in the Champion Hurdle, which leaves July Flower, who we've only seen once for Henry de Bromhead. A nice 5-1 price. Don't laugh. You can back her each way. If Brighter Days Ahead turns up and you get second place, you get your money back. Great. If the big guns go elsewhere, you sat on what I think is a nice bet. And she might even challenge the big guns because she was brilliant at Leopardstown on her first start for de Bromhead. She beat Carla Conti and Jatara. They're very good mares. Carla Conti was in the mix with Carjesi and all of those last year, finished behind
Carjesi.
Hey, Carjesi.
Finished behind Dan Zadam, who might be a champion hurdle contender himself at the moment. Jatara, a Grade 1 winning mare. I think she's got a real nice bit of form there on her first start for Henry de Bromhead. And as I said, in a market where some might not go, she like almost certainly will go. And she's fairly priced based off of what she's done. And Henry de Bromhead is very good at getting a handful of horses bang on if they've got a target.
Without that. Okay. Do you want to go first, Joel?
Yeah, go on then. I purchased some new glasses, but don't laugh. They're inspired by Will I Am, or more like Micah Richards. So I'm putting these.
Or David Rodgers.
Yeah, I've got those, or I've got the Greg Wallace ones, which you had on last week. And thanks for the messages going, yeah, you've got the Greg Wallace ones on, so I'll take them both off. No, I'm going to, before we get to Sir Gino, and we're going lump on nap and everything like that, I'm going to go Supreme. And I'm going for a Mullins horse. Was 33-1 this weekend. What for a song from one of my favourite artists of all time, Canadian singer. God, is that bloody pop master here, isn't it? Look at you two.
No, it's lost on.
I don't know your favourite artist is.
All right, no, bloody Celine. Go on. Yeah, Celine. No, Alanis Morissette from the album Jagged Little Pill. You ought to know.
Right, tell us why.
We got it.
You ought to know. Yeah, you want to
28-1.
28-1. All right, it was 33 for the weekend. I watched the hurdling debut. The hurdle debut back this morning. Was handy all the way. The other Mullins horse was in the race, Port Julian, who got taken out and overjumped or was lame or whatever. So that got taken out and was left in front and then taken back a little bit. And the Racing Post said, didn't jump with a lot of fluency or made mistakes or whatever it was. I was completely the opposite of that. Then we go back, look at the bumpers. One on Rule's debut, easily beat Croke Park. Followed that up with an easy win at Galway. And then got beaten 4 lengths by Juraban Lacham. Who then was favourite for the champion bumper, who's injured and will be out the scene for the rest of the year. Bombed in the champion bumper, but I do like having the experience there, just getting around. If you're looking, down the field at certain horses in that race over the years, that they may go on to do something. And I just thought if we're starting off at this 7-week out stage, instead of going short, 33-1. It's probably going to be like third, fourth, fifth string of Mullins. I'd really like Danny Mullins to ride this horse. You ought to know. You'll give me 28-1. I'll take that today. Thank you, Matthew.
You're welcome. So all of that research and brilliant and form analysis is basically you like it because it's a good song.
It's a great record. Great album there. Great album.
I'm going to throw up Potter's Charm in the Gallagher.
Hang on. Thought you might. Oh, I was going to put Gaelic Warrior Langadan, but I thought I might just mix it up for a
I just think he's a cracking bet. I really do. I think he's a cracking each way bet to nothing right now, as long as he obviously gets there. He's won at the track twice over the old course. He's showed enough pace to win over 2 miles. We know the pacey sorts do often go in this because obviously we've seen the likes of Fornoir and Fahim drop back to win the Champion Hurdle for winning and Isterbrak, of course, for winning this. So you certainly need a bit of toe, and he's got that because he proved it when winning over the minimum trip at an Aintree on Boxing Day. So I think he ticks so many boxes, form, course, even. Form on the track as well, batter him in on 6-0, Valgrand, Miami Magic last time out. So yeah, he ticks so many boxes, and the team, the old Rincon team, Jed Mason and all them, just absolutely great time with it. So, and we know where he's going to go. He's definitely going to go in that race, and that's half the battle. So, yeah.
No, I like that, Matt. But you've missed the one stat that we talked about earlier on. Was only beaten in his point to point.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kind of a good one.
I like
Nailed on.
I've got one more horse to mention. Not as an Ante-Post bet, but one of the most interesting comments of the weekend, I thought, was after Matata won, who I'm quite surprised you didn't mention for the Champion Chase, Matt. And they
I was going to actually. Go on. I'll mention why.
Yeah, obviously he's potentially thrown his hat in the ring. But what interested me was Twiston Davis, when asked about it, saying, yeah, but the Double Green have got El Fabiolo, who we haven't seen. But if that was his first thought, and there has been a comment about him being in great nick at home, and he is entered in the Dublin Chase, if he's back on song, he's a massive price. I know you're taking it on faith, but he's 8 at 10 to 1, maybe something like that. So it would be a brave bet at this stage. But that comment, paired with the fact that JJ Slevin is now riding as well for the Double Green, he's a great jockey. Him on board Al Fabiolo, if Paul's riding Gaelic Warrior, it's a big price for the champion.
I was going to look at that because I'm thinking of Matata. I mean, Carter. He's going to go up a chunk for that win. So the Grand Annual is probably out. So he may go for the Champion Chase. But he's been beaten by Calico there this season. He got beaten at Kelso. But it's an interesting one because you mentioned, obviously, Al Fabiolo. There's talk of him potentially looking at the Ryanair and going up in trip. But now they've said that, obviously, a big player. I did talk about Matata because I thought this, again, is a race that's going to cut up horses to go other options. I think Matata may even wait for Aintree.
In Ergomin, I can't remember who said it was, a racing manager or whatever. They were a bit weak on Cheltenham as well, weren't they, after being beaten? They weren't like, we're definitely going to the Champion Chase. It was kind of like, if it's soft ground, yeah. If not, we're not that bothered.
But you're all wasting time. The Champion Chase, right? You're wasting 5 minutes after. Gaelic Warrior all day long. I mean, what you're talking
off his Arkle victory. That's all he's got to his name.
But I was doing the research. It's really obvious. Size of Europe, Sprinter Sacra, Altior, Moscow Flyer, put the kettle on, all won the Arkle, went on to win the Champion Chase. Oh, he'll end up in the 10th. He'll do this. He jumps right-handed, right? Again, if I'd not tried to find a bit of Alanis Morissette, you ought to know, for the Supreme, I'd have gone Gaelic Warrior. And whatever price you're getting now is an absolute steal. Forget that last run. Jockeys just let that other horse win. It was in the fog. Nobody saw it. And gets us a nice little price, 3-1, 7-2, something like that. Gaelic Warrior Champion Chase all day long. Honestly, you're stupid if you're not backing that horse.
Should you follow by Langadan in the Coral Cup?
Well, before we go, can we talk about Langadan?
Last week.
Yeah, that's next week. Can we talk about Langadan? Because that pot at Windsor at the weekend was worth 52, 53 grand, and the one at Cheltenham was only worth 56. And he was available at 18 to 1, 20 to 1 before the off. Would you have not gone, right, go on, the handicapper knows I'm taking the you-know-what here. We can do all the stuff about ulcers, we can do all the stuff about whatever, but we all know what it's been campaigned for. Would you not have swerved and just got to go and lick that big pot, which is worth 4 grand less than it would have been at Cheltenham, and you've also had a few quid on it at double odds? Would you not? Double finger odds? Would you not just let it go at the weekend? But again, last, was it 5th of 5th? Never go in. a bit of wobbly arms. I mean,
They've got to stick to the plan and the story, haven't they? Now,
There's no leaf on the trees.
The reality is, because he hasn't been dropped, you can't then just go, oh well, the handicapper hasn't dropped him, so let's go and win a great race and nick some money. Otherwise,
it was the best for the race.
They've got to stick to what they've done the last 2 years, otherwise it just looks ridiculous. They can't
So
go and just... No, because he won't get dropped, so they'll have to go to the stairs, won't he? But they're not. He's going to stay on the mark of 160. That's obviously what they're doing, isn't it? Or what, they're dropping £2? It's still not going to make a difference, is it?
What if then we transfer our Dan Skelton to another trainer, transfer to Polygundry?
No, I tell you what, you want to back him for the county 2026, and they just keep running him out the back for a whole year and then come back.
Christian Williams, send him there.
Yeah. Oh, I can't get his horses right as well. He had that lovely 25-1 winner yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Jack Shooter's really impressive. Really, really, really impressive. I really like him.
As well, isn't it?
Yeah. Really like it.
Cool. Right. Friday, Cheltenham and Doncaster Trials Day. We'll have some thoughts and picks, and hopefully boost that betting bank for the festival at the weekend, and then we'll react to it all again next week on the road to Cheltenham. So our first picks in the Ante-Post portfolio, Frankie has gone for July Flower in the Mayor's Hurdle. Joel has gone for You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette in the Supreme Novices Hurdle.
She's right in it.
And I've gone for Potter's Charm in the Turners of the Gallaghers. It's the 2.5 miler, the Wednesday opener. I can't remember what it's called, the Wednesday opener as well. Right, join us Friday. We'll have a look at the weekend action of the next week. React to all on our 10th. That'll be our 10th episode of Road to Cheltenham. And that will see just 6 weeks away from the greatest show on turf.